1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. You're down. So today is gonna be something pretty different from what I normally do. You know, I've been doing YouTube for about 3 years, and it dawned on me, you know, that I have never reacted to a story by Banky Pound. Now, I'm sure all you guys know who Banky Pound is, man. Just in case you don't, he is a very good brother, actually a good friend of mine. I believe he done 33 years in the prison system down there in Virginia. He tells YouTube stories, got a lot of great stories, very intelligent, funny brother, man. And a lot of people may not know also that I actually know Banky Pound personally. Like I said, man, I took a trip maybe about 2.5 years ago down to Virginia. He showed me all the hospitality in the world. I went down there, spent about a week with him, hung out, and it was real cool, man. And so, like I said, it had been, you know, I had been thinking about it, like, you know what, I ain't never reacted to a Banky Pound story, man. So, let's hop right into his story and see what he got going on, man. This gonna be a good one.
Being said, man, you know, this is going to be one of the craziest stories you heard about an eye for an eye, right? And the difference is this type of eye for an eye is going to be different than what you think it is, you know. Penitentiary got a lot of sayings, got a lot of different rules, a lot of different regulations that they got going on in prison. And one of the things they used to say in prison was, you know, dudes that used to be chasing the brown eye, right? And what they mean by brown eye is, you know, the beehole, you know, the butthole. So
now let me stop you guys right there, and I think it's important to mention for those who may not know, I believe Banky Pound went to prison in the 80s, I believe, somewhere like maybe in the mid 80s. So it was a very different time back then. In my talkings with him, you know, I came of the understanding that a lot of situations that went on in those prisons were pretty much, you know, when a problem arose, it was handled between those two men. You know, they didn't have back then they didn't have the California gang problem where, you know, a lot of things in California is going to be not allowed or prevented by gang affiliation. But, you know, initially he told me when they first started, they didn't have that.
Just straight like that. That's what they used to call the brown eye. So when you say an eye for an eye, you know, that's what we talking about right now. So I could remember this dude. He was an older dude. And I don't really want to say his name because anybody who's been in the penitentiary gonna kind of like know who I'm talking about. Which, that's like I said, neither here nor there. The story is what's important. The message in the story is what's important, not the name. But, you know, it ain't no whole lot of guys walking around in the penitentiary with, you know what I'm saying, one eye. It's a few, but not a lot. But anyway, when I found out, you know, how he lost his eye was crazy to me, you know. And these type of stories stick with me, man. They don't never leave my mind because it's a lesson in all of that. But when I ran across a dude, he won't, you know, seemingly won't the dude that I had heard about. Because I believe sometimes you go through things like in life and they'll humble you. They'll put you in a situation where you won't act like you used to act because this will humble you.
Now, what I want to say right there, too, it seems like regardless of what state you're doing time in, a lot of things are pretty much the same. You know, he's talking about this incident that happened, and he's saying that the incident with this individual with the one eye happened long before Banky Pound met him. But there was dudes there to fill him in on the story and let him know. And that's just like in these California prisons, you know. Some dudes that I ran across, their reputation preceded them. I had heard about them years and years and years before I actually met them. And there's always going to be individuals who may have been at one prison when a certain incident happened, and now they're at this prison along with the same dude, even though the incident may have happened 15, 20 years ago. So whatever your reputation is, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, it's definitely going to follow you, and it's going to be people around to keep the story alive.
But anyway, this dude had been locked up for a long time, and by the time I ran into him, like I say, he already had one eye. But when I heard the story about, you know, how he got the one eye, that's what, you know, was the message that stuck with me. And the story goes, you know, like I say, back in the day when he had first came in, or he had been in for a little while, you know, at least double digits over a decade, he ended up getting a Celly. But he had a little young Celly that came in there, and he befriended the Celly and tried to, you know, let him know everything was cool. You all right? You in here with me? I've been in for a while. People respect me. Da da da. Woo woo woo. That happens when you first come to penitentiary. You had these young dudes, and it all depends on who you listening to and who you let, you know, kind of more or less, you know, give you the rules and the regulations of the penitentiary. Because, like I say, misinformed people gonna misinform people. If you get around the wrong person and they giving you the wrong game, guess what? You're gonna be stuck. You see what I'm saying? Or worse. So,
and I think, you know, that's very important to mention that when you get to prison, who you get your advice from is extremely important, because if you're willing to take heed to that person's advice, it may dictate the way you move in prison. And the way you move in prison will obviously dictate the type of altercations you get in or the type of altercations that you don't get in. It will dictate if you have a smooth journey through the prison, or if you have a journey with a lot of, you know, physical confrontations or whatever. So, you know, sometimes young people who go to prison, sometimes they're wise enough to listen, and sometimes they think they know it all and they won't listen or whatever. So I just think that's very important, you know.
Got around dude because he was his Celly, and by him being his Celly, man, you know, he trying to, you know, be all nice to him, you know, and then he started introducing them to, you know, hey man, yeah, well you locked up, man, you know, you can get this, you can get that, you know. He started letting them know you can get weed, because dude like to smoke. Most young people do these days. So he started getting them little weed, letting them smoke. They in the cell together. You know what I'm saying? So then he started, you know, introducing them to the penitentiary wine, how dudes can make liquor, yeah, woo. So he getting them drinking, he getting them to smoke. You know, he letting them have his freedom in the cell, going out there, hanging out with the young dudes that he is locked up too. And then, but you know, he like acting like more or less like his big brother or whatever, because they in the cell together.
Man, it's crazy. Just the more I listen to him, like I say, even though he's way in Virginia, it's the same out here in California. You know, when you may have an individual like that who is in a cell with an older dude and he's not affiliated, he's not clicked up, you know, so he's kind of lost. He's looking for acceptance and he's looking for somebody to guide him, you know. And sometimes you do have these dudes who have these reputations where they take advantage of people, and they look for individuals like that, you know, so they can make them feel comfortable, you know. They can make them feel comfortable with many different ways, and then suddenly when they feel they have let their guard down, they take advantage of them.
By the time he got an agenda, you know, he's on some other type stuff. So as time go on, and to the way I get the story, it's a couple of months. They're a couple of months in, and dude done got comfortable. He cool with them because they ain't never had no issues in the cell. Everything is going all right. So he get him in there one time, and he got weed, he got drink. So he get Lil Young and high and get him drunk, and then all of a sudden, he want to try to, you know, do some freaky stuff. So young dude like, what? He thrown off because this ain't what he used to. This ain't how dude that never came at him before. So now he go into the violent zone and just try to overpower the dude, because Youngin is young. He little, he's small. He overpower the dude and do what he want to do to him. He do what he want to do to him, and I ain't got to go into all that. You know what he did to him. You know.
Now, I know it's some dudes who may be listening right now that say, that's probably saying, oh man, if that was me, I wouldn't go for it and this and that. But, when sometimes when you in some of them cells, man, and them cells is solid cement and concrete, regardless of how loud you yell, how much noise you make, unless you next door in a cell or two, people's not just to hear that. And then if you come to jail, let's say you come to jail, you 5'8", you 135 pounds. They put you in a cell with a dude that's, 5'11", 220 pounds. And this dude been working out for the last 10 years. This dude is maybe older than you by 10, 15 years. That dude is working with a different type of strength, man. And, a lot of dudes say that this wouldn't happen to me and blah, blah, blah. But, man, listen, I've heard horror stories, man, about, certain individuals, certain things happening, right? I've heard stories about dudes going into the cell and tying people up. Matter of fact, I was in the county jail, and there used to be this one dude, and he was talking about, man, we'll tie you up, but it was all in fun. And it was another dude, he's like, oh man, y'all can't tie me up. And long story short, they ran in there and tied him up and put him up under the bunk for about an hour. So just think, if you're in the jail with some dudes who have, ill intentions, and they want to do these things to you and they overpower you, sometimes you don't have a win. Some dudes say it would never happen to me, but I'm sure every dude that it happened to said the same thing.
Man, he chasing the brown out. So he do it to the dude, and then he get a dude all of this, dude crying and want to call the police and this, that, and the third, and he running down to him, tell him, look, you got to do this time. You don't want nobody to know what's going on. Ain't nobody got to know this between me and you, and we can keep it in the cell. But if you go tell, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to do this to you, and even if I can't do it to you, everybody going to know what happened to you, and you going to be like this, and everybody, he give him all of this, trying to scam, put all of this crazy stuff in his head, just for the dude not to tell him.
Now that's another good point he made right there. And I know some dudes might be out there thinking like, okay, well, chill, what happened, man, if this dude told? Would he, because he told it and he told the police, would he be ostracized and shunned from the prison community? And to be honest, that's a real good question. And I honestly think, for the most part, I don't think that he would be shunned, because even though you're not supposed to tell, that is such an act that is so, that act right there is so disliked by so many people. I think that a lot of people would not fault the dude for that. I also believe you still would have your hardened individuals who believe that under no circumstances was he supposed to go tell. He should have picked up a weapon and got that dude and unalived him or hurt him severely the best chance he could. But the fact of the matter is, man, everybody is not trying to get more time in prison. Like I said before, you have people who may come to jail for selling drugs, high-speed chase, burglary. It doesn't necessarily mean they're violent, and it doesn't necessarily mean they want to get violent and extend their sentence by being violent. So it's just, it's a lot of people say a lot of things, but until you're in that situation, it's hard to deal with.
Took the manhood, so now he don't want to tell because he's scared, because he know it's gonna be consequences that come behind that too, with the police, with going to real court, with being labeled, as a predator. He know all of this, so he manipulating the young. This is the type of things that can happen to young people that come in there that's not aware, that don't know what's going on. So he run all the game to the dude, and the dude is he soothe him over for seemingly he soothe him over. So they go through the night or whatever, and the next day the doors open and the dude moving around. He acting like it ain't nothing happened. Old boy acting like it ain't nothing happened. But man, this is the type of stuff that happens in prison, man. Evidently, he ain't tell nobody because he don't want nobody to know that. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't sit right in his soul, because that's not what he into. And he feel the violation. He probably felt the pain. He probably felt, not just physical pain, mental pain, you know what I'm saying? That just don't sit right in his soul. And he got to go back in the cell with this dude every day. Every count, he got to be in here. And I don't know if, because that's not how the story came to me. If dude kept doing it or whatever, or kept trying to do it, I don't know that. But the way I got this story was, it wasn't even like 4 or 5 days later,
And I was just going to say, exactly pretty much what Banky said, man. Imagine somebody does something like that to you, you know, and then you go back in the cell with this dude, and you walking around this dude in the cell is so small, so you can't help but to see this dude, and you know, the dude is in there acting like nothing happened, or he's in there now since it's happened once trying to convince you to let it happen again. Regardless of whatever stance that the predator is taking, it has to be a situation that is infuriating the dude who was transgressed upon, man. And you know, just imagine, I know he's probably sitting there wanting to do all he can to hurt this dude in the worst way possible. But sometimes, you know, a lot of people say, man, size doesn't matter in prison. Size matters in prison, especially when you are locked within close quarters and confined with another individual that outweighs you by 60, 70 pounds, knows how to fight, knows how to use his body weight. Because in them cells, when you fight in the cells, a lot of times it's going to become a wrestling match. And if you don't have the room to maneuver, if a person drops his weight on you, 70 or 80 pounds, it matters.
Evidently, he done went out and hollered on the yard and hollered that somebody did this, did that, and he done came up with that Bethlehem. And he done got that Bethlehem in his possession. And he goes in that cell, and dude is doing whatever he doing, and they say as soon as he turned around, he just hit him. Bam, bam, bam. Hit him in the chest, hit him in the face. But when he hit him in the face, he hit him in the eye. And it took his eye out. So dude fall on the ground and he hollering and screaming and bleed. And Young is so scared because he never did nothing like that before. He run out of the cell and he's standing out the cell with the joint in his hand and he hollering at me, "I kill you, I kill you, mother, I kill you, man. Play with me, who you think I kill you?" You know, so that drawed all the attention. They call the police, they hit the stone, everybody go to your cell, wah, 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 woo, woo. You know, they come in there, Young and drop the knife down, they run over him, get him, take him on back to the hole. They go in there and get dude, man. They had to helicopter him out to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? He almost died. You know what I'm saying? Because he had lost his eye. That was a vicious injury, and he got hit in his chest twice. So he.
Hearing him talk about he hit the dude in the eye, man, that reminds me of a situation that I got into. I was on a 2-yard, actually. I got into it with a real extremely big dude, man. This dude probably was, I would like to say, maybe about 6'2", 6'3", somewhere up in there, man. Probably about 300 and at least 30 pounds, 45 pounds. Dude was an extremely big old giant dude, and he used to work out all the time. He had got a little chunky, but that just even made him much more bigger. I remember it was a dude there by the name of L, man. L was from 10 Deuce Butt Long. And I asked L, I said, L, because L was relatively big too. I said, L, man, how much you weigh? L told me he weighed either, it was 315 or 320. And this dude was way bigger than L. And I asked L that because I was trying to get a gauge on how much this other dude may possibly weigh, because due to this dude's demeanor, his characteristics, I knew that we was eventually going to get into it. But I had planned on hitting this dude in the eye. Due to the fact that he was just so big, you know, I couldn't allow me to try to stab him one time, and that one stab wound didn't do nothing to him, and he turned around, and you know, because I'd heard stories of people getting their knives took from them by the person that they was trying to attack. And so yeah, you know, it's a cold situation, and that was definitely going to be one of my plans. You know, something ended up happening. The name of that story is called Chill versus Goliath, and I wasn't able to hit him in the eye like I had planned, but I did end up hitting him. The name of that story is Chill versus Goliath, and if you haven't seen that, go check it out, man. But you know, yeah, that was my plan, to hit the dude in the eye.
Lost his life. You understand? So they got dude back there, which is the young dude in the hole, and they telling him, man, you getting ready to, you going to go to court. You getting ready to get a whole extra amount of time, man. What's going on? What happened? And he won't say. He won't say. He don't want to tell him what dude did to him because he embarrassed. You understand? But they put that pressure on him and kept telling him how much time he gonna get. And he broke. He broke, and he told him dude did something to him, and that's why he did what he did. So they telling him, why you ain't say nothing? He said he ain't want to say nothing. They asked him how long ago it happened. He said a couple of days ago. So they can't even really, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what they did for as medical or whatever, right? But, you know, they come to the conclusion that dude did do something to him, you know, but that still ain't going to justify what he did, because that's just the way it goes. They don't care in the system. They want everybody to pay. They want everybody to stand there. If they can keep you in there long and keep him in there long, that's a win-win for them.
Most definitely, you know, in that situation, the young dude was definitely in a catch-22, you know, because like he said, they don't care. You know, at the end of the day, they don't want a person to be violent regardless of the situation, right? Regardless of the circumstances. So now if that young dude had went and told from day one, of course they would have moved him. They would have put him somewhere. They possibly may have put him in protective custody. I don't quite know how the system down there works, you know, but he never would have been able to get the revenge that he wanted, you know. Maybe had he went and reported the situation, maybe the dude would have said it was consensual, blah, 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 and maybe nothing would have happened to him. Who knows, you know, but just like Banky Pound said, man, I've heard the attitudes of many guards, and they have a great disdain, a lot of them, for the convicts. You know, they see you as useless, they see you as worthless, they see you as irredeemable, and they see you as a piece of trash. And so a lot of them have the attitude that it's part of their job to make your time more harsher. It's part of their job to be rude, disrespectful, and they really don't care about what happens to a person either way up in there. So yeah, he definitely was in a catch-22.
Saying so, he ended up telling what happened to him and didn't get no leniency at all. He still had to pay for what he did. You understand? And dude still got to pay for what he did because now he got one eye and he got holes in his chest, and he lucky to be alive. You know, when I run into him, like I say, he was humble. You know, and that is probably what humbled him. You did, and I heard dude got a decent amount of time for what he did. You know, but to my understanding, he had a little time coming in anyway. But still, though, you get that time in the penitentiary, that's flat time. You know what I'm saying? Now, he may have set the pace for the rest of the bit that he gonna do. That people know that he gonna stand up for himself. He gonna do this and do that. But you also set yourself on a course where you ain't gonna get out of the penitentiary, if ever. If ever. You see what I'm saying? But these are the positions that you will be put in, you know, when you in prison. Now, also, everybody knows why he did what he did, so everybody knows what happened to him. So that's gonna bring about stuff too, because you got some dudes that's so sick in the head, even though they know you did this to him because he did that to you, they'll still want to try you, because they'll have it in their mind, well, you ain't gonna do it to me, or you must have liked it, or you did it before. It's sick dudes like they're in there like that, man.
Yeah, you know, and like Banky Pound is saying, now the youngster, the dude who grabbed the Bethlehem and got busy, now you in a cold situation, because now after you done blasted somebody once, you pretty much you can't walk away from that. You know, that's now the next time somebody try you, you have to do it again now. And then like Banky Pound said, now you are potentially risking yourself even to getting more time and more time. You know, it's just a cold situation up in there, man. You never know what you're gonna get yourself into. You know, I've seen people go in with small amounts of time and end up getting a whole bunch of time behind things that transpired in prison. You know, I knew a dude that was locked up in the county jail for some relatively small stuff. He ended up getting involved in a murder and ended up doing 30-something years, you know, a life sentence, when he just went to the county jail for some small stuff. I think it was tickets for a stolen car or something like that. But anyway, man, it's your boy 16 to life. If you guys have not checked out my good brother Banky Pound's channel, be sure to go check his channel out, man. He got a lot of great stories. You already know what it is. Resume normal program.